Welcome, welcome everybody to the Maiden Voyage of Buried Pleasures. I'm here tonight with my super fantastic and awesome friends, Ben and Tom from Just Some Podcast. And I'm going to throw it over to Ben, let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I've been an alcoholic for, wrong meeting.
Wrong meeting.
No, I'm Ben. I'm a nurse practitioner in Kansas, and as you alluded to, we have a podcast, Just Some Podcast, and I don't know what else you want to know. So, Tom?
Well, I want to say something really quickly. Ben, nurse practitioner, is also Dr. Ben, who is also Kansas State's, what are you? What was your award you just won?
I won the nurse practitioner, the Excellence Award for the state of Kansas for nurse practitioners from AANP.
Oh, so yeah, that's all he is. And his partner in crime, who is also podcasting God, just the same. Tom, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Tom. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I randomly got an email and I clicked on it. I thought it was going to be another prince from Nigeria, but instead I'm here. So
that is not the email you get. You know, you get emails about some other stuff. So don't even.
Do I want a larger genital? Click here and for the next 30 days. Yeah.
Funny that you said that.
It's ironic, huh?
Genitals, and that's why you're here.
Yeah.
So, the topic that we're going to talk about on this maiden voyage of Buried Pleasures is what's the deal with penis sizes and how they affect men. So, to kick this off, I'm going to tell you, I did a little bit of research on the actual sizes of men's penises, which is a very interesting read in case you've never done that.
Wait, is it men in general or Tom and I? Just one.
Oh, I'm talking about the male as a species.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm glad you did that research because there was zero chances in hell that Tom was going to be Googling dick pics and wanting to talk about them on the air. It just
on Just Some Podcast for advanced practitioners, I have been lucky enough to be a co-host a couple times. It is so much fun in that realm of being a nurse practitioner, because I also, being the nurse practitioner I am so excited about learning new things. But also now that this is my show, I get to talk about sex and sex education and sex positivity and penises and vaginas and all.
She's just blaring that out.
Penises and vaginas. Oh, and just so you all know, before I start every show, I always do a little exercise. Are you guys ready to do this exercise with me? I just want to throw this in here for.
I did not realize that physical activity was going to.
Yeah, wait a second.
Not that sort of exercise. It's an exercise so that your mouth can move as it should. So what I do is I say vagina, 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 labia, 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 vulva, 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 clitoris, clitoris, clitoris. Clears out the jaws and lets you talk a little easier. Go ahead, guys, if you want to try it.
So, all right, vagina, 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 Ben.
I forgot the next one.
Tom, you didn't forget the next one.
Labia, labia, labia.
Vulva, vulva, vulva.
Is it clitoris, clitoris, clitoris?
Yes. See?
Yeah.
Better?
And chicks say guys don't know where that is.
Penis, penis, penis.
Oh, wait a second. Whoa. Yeah, see, I didn't want to say that.
Did you want to say penis?
No.
Say penis. You know what?
Hey, what are the rules on your show? Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, okay.
Scrotum.
Testes 1 2 1 2. That's our air check.
Because you just asked if you could say testes. That's not a bad word.
No, but when I say dick instead of penis a lot, that's gonna probably be something.
And in the realm of taking care of the post production and editing, I will leave everything that I can in these shows. I'm not gonna
Thank you very much. You're going to have fun having Tom on your show. Notice I'm talking about myself in the third person. That's how you know it's going to be good.
I have edited Tom, and no, you will not have fun having Tom on your show.
I believe in the beginning, it was probably a lot worse than it is now. Right. And maybe we should come back. Ben, we need to come back on her show and drink.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Those are always fun shows. So
I love the drinking shows because Tom gets rowdy. Ben just sits over there and he's a cool drinker. He's not a what do you want to call that? Let's call it alliterative drunk. I don't know.
Boisterous.
Gregarious.
Loquacious.
Wow, look at you pulling out the $5 words.
Yeah, look at that. Every once in a while.
He's on a new show. He's got to do that. Now,
I don't think that's ever been an issue for me on our show, so I don't know.
So going back to what we were talking about, penis size. Penis. We got
I just thought about something. Just for the people listening, I am a board certified nurse practitioner. I guess I forgot to mention that earlier. So, believe it or not, people pay me money to do things and fix them. It doesn't sound like it based on what you're about to hear or have heard up to this point, but I promise it's true.
Yes, he is. And thank you, Tom, for asking me to be on Just Some Podcast in the first place. I really appreciate it because I have just blossomed into the most ridiculous of people. I'm that person that's now like, I'll text you and ask you a question and then be like, hey, did you listen to my show? How is it? Did it sound okay? What's it like? Did you like it? How did everybody sound? What's it like? What's going on?
So to completely honestly answer these questions as much as I can, for the most part, I give her feedback. But sometimes she texts me when I've been drinking or something, and then she's like, "So how was that show?" I'm like, "I don't have a goddamn clue. I forgot." So I don't know what to answer. I was drunk sitting in a bathtub. I don't know what to tell you what's going on with your show. So.
And this is my life. These are the people that I surround myself with so that I can advance myself.
Well, you probably should have picked better. I don't know what to tell you.
That's true.
Now, can we go back to penises?
I guess. Lead the way.
Wow.
Can you give us a helping hand on penises?
Oh, you're so cute. That's so cute. The reason why he says that is because a lot of the people who contact me for Tantra want hand jobs. That's the gist of their emails and messages and calls, which is very distressful, honestly, because that's not what I'm about. I'm about education and about learning and teaching people how to pleasure themselves and also how to feel better. And I'm not here to jerk people off. That's not
wait, so there's no hand jobs?
Not currently.
Ben left the chat.
I was going to say, and honestly, so I think a lot of things that we're going to talk about tonight are perspective. And I think it's hard for a woman to understand because as a guy, if women were constantly emailing me every day, be like, hey, Tom, kind of sit on your face. I'd be like, is there a line forming? Because I can make one out the door to the left. Like, I don't understand. It's hard for me to understand how you wouldn't want people to find you, because it's like, I wish people were like, Tom, I find you so attractive. I want to do something sexual with you. I'm like, well, goddamn. Like, seriously, anytime a girl even remotely acts like she's somewhat flirty, which never happens, but like the 2 times it's happened in 9 years, I came directly home and told my wife, do you know what happened today? A girl flirted with me. What now? And I just like peacock strut around the kitchen for a few minutes.
Gosh, wow.
She's like, I can't walk down the hallway without that happening. I'm like, shut up, woman. So it's different.
Well, I think maybe it's a tactic change that needs to happen. Instead of, hey, how about a hand job? It would be more like, hey, how about a discussion about what you do? What exactly are you trying to teach?
You want him to slow roll you, because I'm more of a frontal attack guy myself. Like, let's just get down to business. All right, this is happening or not happening. So, anyways, back to what you were talking
listen,
about.
I don't think that Ben is going to have a face left, because by the end of this show, with the frequency of him rubbing his brow, I think he's going to
rub that left eyebrow right off. So.
This is your partner in crime, by the way, Ben. This is your hetero life mate, just so
I
you
know.
know.
But you're letting him go unleashed, and I can't help that.
All right, Tom, get on your leash.
All right.
Oh, see? That's another fetish play. We'll have to talk about that later. So, penis size. Let's talk about it.
Break it down. What's your question?
Let's break it. I don't have a question. What I have is a couple
Stats,
facts.
Remember? Yeah.
Couple facts. I don't have
Depressing facts. Go on.
Maybe for some, maybe not for others. So the size of a man's penis, generally speaking, is estimated at average 6 inches long and 5 inches in diameter. Which that, in turn, while looking up that information, threw me over into Men's Health magazine. I swear to God on my life, is the funniest thing. They have the best stories, but they have one entitled something about working with a chode. And they show a man opening a can of tuna. So I had to think for a moment, okay, short, round, but, no pop top on a man. So just as a side note,
I would have to. I'm going to say, though, I don't think that 5 inches in diameter in ratio to 6 inches in length could possibly be correct.
There's not a whole lot of square penises out there, you mean? Like, it's tall.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's an awfully wide object at all times. So I'm just saying and what I'm saying is, look at the dimensions. 6 by 5.
No, in diameter, not length.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 6 inches long and 5 around.
Okay, but you're looking at like the circumference.
Yes.
Not the fucking diameter. Like, if you were to measure from one, like you start here and you measure around.
Yeah, so I am talking about circumference, not diameter.
That's like 5, give or take.
Oh, man, I don't know. I've never got a soft tape measure and tried to strangle the little guy. I don't know.
Funny story that you guys are having differencing in opinions on measurements, which is a guy thing, right? Like, because guys will always say.
I will tell you right now. I know. Apparently, women think I cannot remember ever measuring anything.
What?
Oh, I did. When I was a teenager.
Boys always do that. You didn't.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. That's the impression that every guy does that. I was like, the numbers aren't going to be good, so I don't want to know them. So I just never have. Never.
Well, guess what?
Never mind. I don't have a tailor's tape measure just hanging around.
Also, I'm going to call your wife and tell her that she needs to find out this information.
She can, but then she'll just get more depressed. So I'm trying to avoid that.
Ben, can we switch over to you for a minute? So this is my show. Tom, you're in the penalty box. No self-deprecation on my show. We can't. No. Ben?
Yes.
You measured yours as a teenage boy. I'm not going to ask you the size because that's not an interesting fact that we all need to know. That's for you.
Some people might find it.
But as far as penis size goes, I also was reading some information. Do you happen to know how long the longest penis recorded is? Do you happen to know? Have a guess.
I guess I'm going to go 16 inches.
Jeez. Wow. I'm going to let you out of the penalty box just for now. What size? What would you think would be the largest penis measured ever?
Well, I feel like this is cheating because we talked pre on before.
Prior to you knowing, what would you
I'm going to go prior to me knowing, I would have probably said 12. Okay. I would have probably said 12.
And I laughed when you said that. actually, because I've seen way bigger guys than that in my lifetime. As being a nurse, by the way, not necessarily always in my personal life. But yeah, 13 and a half inches. A guy named Jonah Falcone, or Falcon. I'm not sure however he says it. But anyway, largest penis on record. There also was another surgically enhanced penis. That was the Guinness Book of World Records holds that. Surgery and physiotherapy brought this guy's penis from 6 inches to 10.62 inches. So he had to do a lot of physical therapy and surgeries to have
what kind of physical therapy?
Physiotherapy. I don't know what they would do. Like they just tie a rope to the end and hang you from it. I'm not really sure what happened.
Oh. Yeah, that's.
But I mean, think about it. Like surgery on your penis itself. Like, does that sound like something that guys?
No, I don't think that. I think every guy jokes about that they would get that surgery, but knowing what's going into it and how fearful guys are of simple procedures like vasectomies, if you told them I'm going to splice this thing open like a burnt hot dog in a microwave, and then I'm going to start pulling and tugging on things, pretty sure eventually no one's going to want that. I'm just.
Well, and I think it would be risk and benefit. Like, I mean, you said that went from 6 to what, 10? So you're talking 4 inches. Like, is that worth the risk of, potentially being flaccid forever or anything else? Right. So I don't know if 4 inches would be enough for it. I mean, like, if you can give me like, 13 and a half, well then, yeah, I might consider it, but
what the hee-haw heck are you going to do with 13 and a half inches? A woman's vagina is not necessary. Her vaginal canal is not going to be that long to accommodate that.
I'm not going to wear scrubs anymore.
There you go. I was going to say, I think this is again a perspective issue. I think as a woman, you're like, what am I going to do with 13 inches? But as a guy, we're going, I can do whatever I want now because I have 13 inches. It's a whole different ball game to us.
I had a really good friend who was a very largely endowed man, and he was in nursing school with me, actually. Super nice guy. I won't mention his name because it's probably not appropriate. I didn't ask him. So anyway, he talked about having such a large penis that he could not ejaculate. He could not get to the point where he could finish. So it's a little bit, it was a little different, right? Like you would think that this guy with this giant penis is going to be this amazing lover and can knock it out, like knock the bottom right out of it, right? But in actuality, he found it a hindrance. And also in the lane of oral sex, just choking girls to death is not exactly top on his list of things to talk about.
I'm sorry. I was just like picturing a giraffe trying to throw up.
Wow.
I'm trying to throw up. You're so terrible. All right.
Have you ever seen South Park? Make the sound of a dying giraffe. Whoa. Like that's.
I knew this is going to go off the rails quick, but I didn't know it was going to be that quick.
Like you had to think how long it would take a giraffe to throw up. I mean, and
yeah, so uncomfortable. So guys think that this is such a great thing to have this big, ginormous phallus, right? And necessarily, it's not true. Again, that's only one perspective. And I have been with men that have been smaller and bigger and somewhere in between, but it's not necessarily the size of the penis that has made the difference, I don't think. What do you think about that, Ben? Do you think it's the size of the penis?
Well, I mean, I've never had a penis in me. But
okay, thanks for that. Thanks for qualifying.
Let's be clear on a few things.
No, I think it is a mental thing more than anything. I think it's because you see porn movies and these guys with just huge schlongs, and
right.
So as a teenager growing up, or even God forbid you go in the fucking locker room,
right?
I mean, and so it's just like embedded in your brain that you have to have this long dick when you really don't have to.
Right. Right. It's actually not a necessity whatsoever to have a long penis. And actually, there are so many things that you could do to pleasure a woman without the penis that, you know, it's not that I'm saying that I would say no ever again to seeing another penis, but just saying that there's definitely, you know, there is definitely a way that women can be pleasured without a penis. Just saying. Yes, Tom?
I was going to say, that's great for you, but for most of us, there's only one way, and it involves our dick. So if it's not involving our dick, then what was the point? And I mean, there are always special occasions or reasons why that may not come up, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But let's face the facts. When it comes to sex for a guy, it's going to involve that. So to us, mm-hmm. First of all, sex for us has to involve that. And second of all, I would assume most men, I mean, I haven't taken a poll, but I would assume most men would agree, like, that's, we know about foreplay, and I know there's all the jokes men don't know. Yeah, okay. But at the end of the day, me going into my wife, that's the whole basis of what, like, that's the whole lead up, right? Everything we do is to get to that point. So I understand that for most women, size doesn't seem like that big of an issue. But I don't know. I think most guys it is. I agree with Ben. It's a mental. It is absolutely mental.
And what if I told you that you could separate having an orgasm from having ejaculation, and then you don't have to have the penis necessarily involved?
I would say
on our show, and
I'd say, what's the point then? That's what I said. what am I doing if you know?
So you're having an orgasm without ejaculation is what you're doing.
That also sounds impossible.
Oh, I know it sounds impossible, but it is absolutely not impossible. And there are so many amazing tantrikas out there that can teach just that in itself. But
if I only knew one. I only
right? If you only knew one that you could just message and say, "Hey, can I have a hand job?" I know.
Wow. Hey, that was not the direction I thought it was going to go, but
not that Tom has never. I promise you, Tom has never messaged me and said, "Hey, can I have a hand job?"
But you never know what's going to happen after this show. So
Tom and Ben have both got the most wonderful, beautiful wives in the whole world. They're very nice ladies, and we do not do that. We're not that kind of friends. But one day, just wait. I'm going to teach those ladies how to tantrika you up. It's going to be a thing. You're going to love it.
Is it going to involve like incense or a robe?
It's going to involve everything that you hate.
How do you know I hate it? I just
hate everything.
Okay, I hate most things, but I don't see the point of having an orgasm and, you know, not firing the rifle. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
Trying to procreate anymore?
No, that's what the vasectomy is for.
Right.
Correct.
So you're shooting blanks anyway, big pops.
Even if you're shooting blanks, you're still shooting the gun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so we need to get your thoughts off of. That's like you're programmed to think that ejaculation is the end game, and it's not. And as you were saying before, you know, your thoughts of being a man and being with your woman is using your penis. What happens when you have high blood pressure? You take medication that gives you erectile dysfunction. How are you?
Okay, but like as I said before, there are circumstances where I understand, but I think there are men that don't take medication specifically because of that. Like, it's so ingrained in our DNA that if this doesn't work, then I'm not a person. That I think for most people, it's a mental hurdle that it's hard to clear.
Sure. It absolutely is. And I think as a female, I should tell as many men as I possibly can that non-ejaculatory orgasms are a thing, dang it. And I've seen it. I've seen it in a bunch of people. It happens. It works. And it's not an overnight. That's another thing people have a misconception of is, what's the fast way to get to that? How quick can we do that? Can we do that overnight? No, it takes practice. It's not something that you can just hop on board and be ready in a day. I mean, you could, I guess, if you'd be super lucky, but that's not necessarily the thing. Everything that's worth anything is worth the work. And so putting in the work is what you should think about doing. Not necessarily you have to, but just a thought. Because as men get older, your testosterone also starts to drop. And, eventually there's going to come a day when your little soldier's not going to be able to stand at attention like you'd like him to be. And to avoid an uncomfortable situation, you're going to have to roll with it, right? Like you just have to roll with it for the pleasure of yourself and for your partner.
Couple of popsicle sticks and some tape. And we'll
There's not a girl in the world that needs to take splinters out of her vagina. Not a one.
There's not one that needs to, but I bet there have been some that have.
I've seen it. Mulch.
Wow.
As a matter of fact. Yeah, when you throw a girl down and do it in a flower bed, mulch is definitely a thing. It's going to happen. That is also a reason why I think some people should shave. Because of that scenario completely.
I would say I've done it on a beach and sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing like sand blasting your penis. Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah, think about, would you like to have a vagina full of it? Think about, would you like to have a spoonful of sand in your mouth rolling around? No, you wouldn't. It's uncomfortable. No. I don't think it's good. No, not good at all.
No. So all those movies, when they're all romantic, I can't. I just go, that's bullshit right there. I guarantee you, no matter what they're doing, they are chafing. That's a thing, and it's happening. And I don't believe it.
All of it's super romantic always, but yeah, the end is not necessarily that. So,
but if the bearded clam holds a grain of sand long enough, it'll make a pearl. So
there you go. See, Ben's always finding the positives.
Are you talking about like a yeast pearl? Like what's going to happen when you get vagina inside your clam?
No,
definitely not creating a pearl. Mm-mm.
Not a new pearl. You never know.
Yeah, have you tried?
Yeah, no.
There you go.
The rules about yoni owners, women with vaginas, is if you can't put it in your mouth, don't put it in your yoni. But you can put sand in your mouth. Yeah, but why would you want to? It's not good. It's silica, right? Like sand's made like a silica. Yeah, it's not good. Not a good thing. I'm just saying. You're knocking it, but you haven't tried it. I guess it doesn't go the other way, though. Like, you shouldn't put everything you put in your mouth in your yoni. So, true story. Yes. Just because it's a hole doesn't mean you have to stick it, right? Fair. Yeah, don't do that. If there's some advice I could give young men, that would be it. Like, trust me. Peace of mind over piece of ass. Trust me. Don't do it. Or because I was responsible enough as a young man that I thought of that. I also thought, what's the point of having sex with this chick if my dick falls off in 6 months? Like, there's no, I'm not, I don't want an STD. I don't need an STD. So plenty, I had enough self-restraint as a younger man to be like, nah. Mm-mm. I don't know how I ever met you. You're super responsible. How did you guys become friends with all this responsibility in between you? It's so crazy. Oh, I was not responsible. Let's clarify that now. Prior to marriage, which is so weird because if you look at us now, you would think Tom. Oh, right? I always think about my best friend growing up. Her name is Missy Lovely. She lives in Kentucky. She's so sweet. I love her so much. I was the crazy wild one, and she was like the level-headed, didn't drink, didn't do sex stuff things ever. She was just such a and she still this day is just the nicest person ever. I'm still nice, but I also fell off like that wagon early. I was
Shit happens.
Right, exactly. So how did that happen? How did that change with you, Ben? Like you were the wild child and then you got married. Is that how it happened?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just the marriage part. Got it.
Well, I mean, so not to get into too much detail, but I mean, I dated a little bit right after high school and was with a couple people for several years, and then when those relationships ended, I kind of went through a little man whore phase and did lots of things that I probably shouldn't be proud of.
But you can't help but be. I know, it's okay.
And then you grow up and you get a little more mature and you realize that there's more to life, and yeah, there you are.
And Tom, you went from good guy to that.
No, so it's weird because I'd never really thought about it until you just said that. My parents were very open. Like there was no question you couldn't ask, and I think I grew up having that resource. And they never made it awkward. Don't get me wrong, I didn't have like detailed, in-depth, conversations about sex with my parents.
Mom. I got you.
But I mean, if there was a question or something came up, my parents were like, "Well, do you know what that is?"
Yeah.
And so it kind of led down that path. And I guess, honestly, it's probably started off more as a self-confidence. Like I didn't want to date girls. Like I was just afraid of what was going to happen. Rejection. Like I just did not think I was going to get a girlfriend. So if I don't ask, you can't say no. Don't get me wrong. I was totally into girls. But even when other boys were in that, girls have cooties, I was like, not me. I was like, you can sit here. You can sit next to me. Like, I'm cool with that. Exactly. But, no, I guess I really started when other guys were like, I want to date every girl in school. I found one girl, and I found a lot more happiness with getting to know that one girl and doing it wrong. I'm not saying I didn't have sex before marriage. My parents wanted to murder me when they found out, but it was with one person. I didn't have any interest in every girl in school. I found one person, and I became attached, and that's just how things have always progressed for me. So I think that's what kept me out of trouble, though, because I'm not saying I didn't have a minor man whore phase, but the weird part was I was completely upfront. Like it wasn't like dating around. It was if I had sex with a girl and some other girl was going on a date with me, I'm like, before we do this, I'm going on a date with this other girl. Right. Like I was totally try to be as open as I could be. But it was a very brief period of time in my life. But yeah, generally I've always been I find one person and that's who I want to be with. And I think that's what kept me out of trouble, though, now that I think about it, because I probably could have gotten in a lot of trouble thinking back. But
I know I could say that I can't say I had a man whore phase. I could say I had a whore phase, and I don't like the thought of that. So I'm not going to use that term. But no, I was always also, I know, strange enough to say, I was and still am very monogamous. Like I'm a one guy kind of girl. I don't like to share often. And sometimes in the past, I'm going to say that, I was free spirit, man. I used to before high school, I'll never forget this. My senior years of high school, I was just having a little fling with this older guy. I would stop at his house in the morning before I'd go to school and eat cornflakes and drink Diet Coke. Just have sex upstairs, go to school, and be like, day's great.
I'm beginning to wonder if cornflakes was a euphemism for something, but apparently not.
No, she legit had cornflakes.
He was a good guy. He fed me breakfast.
So you're saying I could get a high school girl if I tell her I have a car and cereal?
No.
I probably would not get that.
Not as
okay. I do want to say something, though. As much as I love my wife, and I do, if she ever wanted to share me with another chick at the same time, absolutely. I am like, yes, that is a
It's recorded now.
Share me, baby.
Yeah.
Share me. Spread the love and wealth.
Share you. With
you are a lucky woman, and other women should know how happy you are. And
only with a female, not another male, though. Correct.
Correct. Hey, if guys are into that, more power to them. I don't have any problems with that. Me personally, though, I am a 2-woman guy. There you go. Let's just stick with that. Yeah. If there's going to be more than one person, it has to be 2 women.
Your wife is going to be so proud. And Ben is not going to answer any of this at all. He's going to bow out respectfully, I'm sure.
Wait, what am I going to answer? Do I want to sleep with Tom? No.
No. Do you want to put it on record that if 2 women wanted to sleep with you at the same time and your wife was okay with it, that there was no judgment by anybody, you would say yes to that, correct? Or not?
Yeah. Let's just
see?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think if you took a poll of most married men,
yeah,
98% are probably going to be like,
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that even if I said no, I would be lying to you. And if you ask my wife, she'd be like, he is fucking lying through his teeth. If she brought home some hot coworker I've never met and was like, hey, Tom, she wants to take her pants off, there's no stopping this train. All right, let's go. It's
sitting in the corner with his phone on record.
I like, what can I do?
Putting that in the vault just for tonight.
Yes, there you go. Well, there's no point. Like, Ben's right. I don't think I'm alone in that. So,
but see, it's funny that you can say that, but honestly, I don't feel like I want to. Number one, I don't want to ever be second to anybody. Not going to happen ever. Also, I just don't want to have 2 guys in my bed. For fuck's sake, you're hot enough as it is on one side. I'm good. It's too hot.
See, but so you bring up an interesting thing there, though.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about, I mean, you basically come in with it like a competition, more or less.
Yeah.
But that would be, I think, how it would be for guys if it was 2 guys and a chick. It would be like, it then becomes a competition of, well, is she liking him more? Is she... And so that was probably why most guys would be like, no.
Girls would be hateful about it, too.
Well, I'm not saying you... But I'm saying I think that's that mental thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, like where does your brain go based on how you were raised and what your thoughts are on relationships? Just like Tom, like, for sure. If your wife wanted to bring a really hot coworker home that was a dude, though, you would be like, nope.
Well, she'd be single, so she could do whatever she wanted at that point. So, I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Dave Chappelle, but there was a comedian. It might have been Chris Rock. One of them said, I have the 1 penis per fantasy rule, and the 1 penis per fantasy is mine. Okay. So, I don't find other men attractive. I mean, I guess that'd be, if I find guys attractive, I don't think I would care, but I don't. So
what if it's Justin Timberlake? Just kidding.
No. That's a whole...
Elon Musk. Oh, what if it was Elon Musk?
See, this is why.
No, wait, stop.
This is exactly what I told you.
Listen, this is my show. Shut up. Anyway, penalty box again for you. No, I'm kidding. You can talk in just a second. But no, what if Elon Musk rolled up in that Tesla SUV, the 300-mile one, not the 200-mile one? Also, he was like, he had a car full of all your favorite goodness. Would you say, all right, wife?
No.
He just needs me to blow him and I can have all these things.
No. But
and you're not going to go do it?
No. But see, that's what I was trying to tell you previously is
we all make fun of you because who you said. I know.
Elon Musk being my air quote here for people that can't see me, man crush, was more about like what he's done for humanity, not how he looks. Like, but again, I don't care if somebody else.
Alien, but I mean,
do what?
Because he looks like an alien. So
it may be, but the guy made goddamn space rockets. Okay, so
sure. He's putting people in outer space all the time. For sure.
But going back to the very basis of it all, though, I agree with Ben. First of all, I couldn't be attracted. I don't think I could be in the moment if there's another dude's dick in the room with me. First of all, I'm like, nope. Okay, I can't. No, I don't want to be here.
It'd take you back to the locker room.
Yeah, but two, yeah, you do not want to get an erection in a locker room in high school. I never saw that, but I would imagine it looks like a piranha pit, like on National Geographic. Like,
why would you be trying to do that? Boys are so unusual
because those things are unpredictable at times. I'm just saying, yeah, like
especially at that age of high school.
Yeah.
The wind blows just the right way, and you're like, "Oh, hey,
yeah, I'm ready to go." Yeah, you don't want to
carry my backpack in front of me.
Exactly. Like I got to excuse myself from class, senora. Like if you're in Spanish class, but I'm just like, but I think it would go back to the other thing is if she paid any attention to the other guy, instantly for me it's buzzkill. Like, oh, well. There you go. And it's just like when you were talking about size earlier, one of the things, and I know a lot of guys that disagree with me, but I also know a lot of guys that agree with me. If you ask your significant other, like, have you been with someone bigger than you? And she's like, yeah, I've been with like one guy bigger than you. You are now second place to her.
You don't
like
ask that.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying though, is if your wife says, yeah, I was with one other guy who is bigger than you, you are now permanently stamped in your own head as second place forever.
Crazy.
That's why you don't ask that question.
Okay, I'm just saying, but I know a lot, and I know a lot of guys that don't agree with that. They're like, I don't give a fuck, but I know a lot of guys that agree, and it doesn't matter. They're like, well, she goes home to you. It doesn't matter. In your head, you are now always going to be second place. So when you talk about penis size, like this is a thing for guys.
I think we're really going to need to hit home with you doing some meditation a lot more.
Meditation, fucking rocket ship to a different planet where they have different rules on penis size.
I want a bigger penis.
Yeah. I don't think that's the type of physiotherapy that's going to help this out. So.
Listen, I have heard that if you tie it to the end of a door, and no, I'm just kidding. That was so a joke. Anyway.
I wouldn't do it anyways.
Why not?
No.
If I ripped the end of my dick off, slamming it in a door?
No, hey, listen, that's a funny story that I remember. Not a funny story, but an unusual story about a patient in an ER who watched a video on how to make your penis bigger by slitting the sides of it with a razor blade. So that scar tissue builds up around it. And accidentally inside his urethra. So, yeah. Yuck.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, please don't try that. The fact that, see, that's the thing. The marketing for men's products that make your penis bigger, make you last longer, make you actually get an erection, whatever, make you have that buzzy, tingly feeling in your testicles, what have you. Have you guys ever tried any of that? Tell me.
First of all, no. But second of all, the fact that you think the buzzy feeling is in our testicles is part of this part. Yeah. Well, allow us to tell you. You could get a fuzzy feeling in your testicles, but that's not the one you're looking for. So
a little bit higher.
Yeah. A little more distal. There you go.
So, tell me about these things, Tom.
What?
Male supplements, male enhancements.
I don't know. I just said I'd never taken them.
Ben, any information from you about male enhancement drugs or performance enhancing drugs?
I've used Viagra a few times just to like play around with it.
Oh yeah, how did it work? I want to know.
How did it work?
Yeah, like how
as advertised.
Is it a quick onset? Is it one you take right before dinner? You have dinner and then a little. No,
it was like 20, 30 minutes before, I think.
Yeah.
And as advertised, even beyond orgasm, sometimes it was still like, you're like, oh, I guess we're not done yet.
But see, this would be the thing for me. Like, I imagine this funny in my head. Like, okay, I've taken the Viagra. I've had ejaculation. She's like, oh, that was great. I'm like, yeah, it was. And it's still there. I'm like, uh-oh. My brain would immediately go to panic mode and like priapism, fuck. Like I would just like go down that road so hard. That's just how my brain, like I start clicking off checklists. What if I dunk him in ice? What happens then? Like, can I?
You say that, but I think in the moment you would be like, well, I might as well enjoy this if I'm going to pay for it later.
Okay, hold on. Yes, that moment. What I'm saying, like, I guess I didn't explain. Like, I'm thinking like 30 minutes later, right? Like, oh, I've taken a shower. We're sitting there, and I'm like, hey, this flag is still at full staff. Better start looking up some bad things that could happen if this continues. So, yeah.
You know, you have he has a pocket full of 18 gauge needles.
Oh, no. Manual aspirate myself. God, I can't block. No.
Don't try that at home, kids.
The look on someone's face. Okay, so before an NP, I worked in ER, and you'd have somebody talking about, well, I'll just take a bunch of Viagra. I'm like, well, do you know what happens if it doesn't go away? And then when I tell them about manually aspirating their penis, boy, they don't think it's quite as cool anymore. when the whole thought, and show them an actual 18 gauge needle, and all of a sudden they're like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna.
The first time I ever saw that happen. So I used to work in an ER way back in the day, and there was a doctor. His name was Wayne Wheeler, and he was like doctor, lawyer, professor of whatever. Like he was everything, and he was the greatest guy. The first time I ever saw that ever happen, I was like, what is going on right now in this place? Because that looks terrible. Holy cow.
I bet it feels terrible.
Yeah, well, the guy, they actually gave him some Versed. They did give him a little something to help him relax. But
hallelujah.
Yeah, he was like, he was 45. So, 45-year-old male. Craziness. But he also had taken that party handful of Viagra and
horny goat weed and turmeric or whatever other bullshit herb they're talking about on there. Yeah, I guess there are, as far as men's health when it comes to stuff like that, I always try and tell them, have you tried like losing weight or changing your diet or exercise?
No,
well, no, of course nobody tries that. They just want the pill. Yeah.
Right,
but but I try to tell them, like, there are bad things that can happen if you take something, especially if it's made in fucking Indonesia. Like, I don't think the FDA quality is quite up to par.
Men that come into the urgent care requesting Viagra are my favorite people to talk to. They are not expecting me to be who I am when they come in and ask.
I bet they're like, you know what, never mind.
Yeah. She starts breaking it down for him. Like, oh,
you're like
boy.
a Jehovah's Witness knocking on your door. That's who I am.
So here's your realign your chi. Ma'am, I just want some Viagra.
Yeah. She's like, not till you open that chakra, bitch.
Listen,
so
let me reach in there and get it for you. That's what I like.
See? And she wonders why people ask her about hand jobs. So
nobody can see that but you.
She's making a very animated hand motion. Yes.
Aggressive hand motion.
Aggressive, yeah.
But, I think what's something interesting about, so the guys who come in asking for Viagra, granted now there are people who legitimately have
correct
issues and need it. I'm not saying that they don't.
Right.
But it's like the ones who ask for it, sometimes I think they don't necessarily need it, and they're just trying to like supplement. As you alluded to earlier, there are other things that you can do.
Right.
Because women are kind of, you got to warm them up a little bit. I mean, it's not.
That's right. You cannot cook a turkey without heating up the oven first. Remember that.
I mean, women are turkeys and men are like a microwave. I mean, it's,
got to turn the knobs on, guys. Turn them.
But I mean, the guys who are in, it's almost like they're just trying to bypass anything else and just get to like in their brain that like this is the only thing that matters is
right. Well, I think that's that quick fix pill person that's what we've done, right? We've made people think that they need a quick fix, and we're such a right now kind of people, right? Like we need information now. We want it now. I want food now. I want somebody to paint my house now. I want somebody to, like there's whatever that you can think of that you want. It's right there.
Well, and I mean, that's honestly a topic Ben and I have discussed on our show several times is, what this has done to healthcare in general. There's been several things, but this is one factor. This instant gratification. I almost said self-gratification. That's a whole nother show. But the instant gratification
with
people expect. Yeah, well.
For hours.
Yeah. I think there are times, and I've heard the jokes. Like I heard a joke about COVID-19, and they said, if COVID-19 made dicks fall off, after 6 dicks, we would have a cure.
For sure.
And there's people that are like, well, why are we so obsessed with erections, but we can't cure cancer? And all I can tell you is market value, because men, I know it is hard talking to women. I work with all women. I get you guys can't. Yeah, you guys can't possibly understand the male perspective, which is. And again, I can't say on behalf of every man, but I'm going to go with 99%. Our DNA helix revolves around our dick and balls. Like, that's just how the world works to us. And if you take that away from us, like the level of depression that must onset, because I will tell you right now, I have had the sexual experience where halfway through the party, the little guy's like, I'm out. And he just done. Devastation. Might as well have been a fucking nuclear bomb go off in my brain. Like, it is the absolute worst. Like, I actually feel bad now talking about it.
But see, I think that personally, I think if you're with someone that you've not been with for very long, I think that's an issue. And maybe that's why Viagra is so popular. But I mean, like, with my wife and I, if things are going on and the soldier decides it's,
he salutes and he's out. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'll make up for it next time. I mean, and so, but it's not as devastating now as opposed to like your third time with them. Because then you're like, well, oh, God, they're going to think that's out,
Yeah. So there's that. And then there is that, like Ben said, there's that learning factor, because it changes for us over time. And again, I admire my friends that are like, halfway through it stopped. So fucking what? I'm like, man, God bless you. Like, how do you live your life? Are you like a professional NASCAR driver? Like, you don't care about death. Like this guy, like what? Like, oh my God, he's the bravest dude I ever met in my life. And I admire it in a good way, that perspective of, because they're able to move on. And I'll tell you right now, most men, that is I can recount in vivid detail every time it's happened. Like, it is a devastating experience for me. But what I was going to say is, I think if it happened now versus those times then, it would be like Ben said. Like, I have a wife. We've been together. We just celebrated our anniversary a couple of days ago. Yeah, she stuck around. And every day I wake up going, today's the last day, but she keeps staying. So I don't know. But that person versus, like Ben said, like, if that happened, though, I will say my wife, I was almost saying my current wife, like there's going to be, we started off on a weird, we started dating right after I had my first kidney stone. And I had to have surgery. And there was a steel wire hanging out of my penis. And so clearly for 2 weeks, there was nothing going on. And so we had to figure things out to, because obviously we were extremely attracted to each other, but I could not get an erection. And I don't mean that as in I couldn't physically. I could. I had a steel wire holding on to a ureter, catheter that was implanted in me. And it caused physical pain. So I was like, oh, God, I got to figure out what to do and not trip this trigger. And that was a Swan Lake-like ballet of intimacy. Because I will tell you right now, when you're doing anything with a female and it's in the beginning, hormones are raging. Oh. And for that to happen is not fun. So I have had to deal, like, I'm not saying I'm the only one. Other guys have had to do. I understand the importance.
Your wife is a trooper.
She is a trooper. But at the end of the day,
she's a trooper.
It's still something that, even though there's nothing I could have done about it, it had no reflection on my abilities, which is something else guys judge themselves on. It still was like traumatic. Like, oh my God, I can't be a person. Since this doesn't work. So I know sometimes women, well, I shouldn't say that. Women can't understand. Just like I can't understand what it's like to have a period. I mean, I empathize, like, oh my God, that must suck.
It totally sucks.
But I've never, had, cramps and bled out of a vagina. So I understand how women can't understand it, but it is a troublesome. Like, I think as you get older you deal with it better, but man, those learning years, those curves are steep. Like that is a bad time.
Yeah, no, not about that either.
So why do you think that, and I know this is your show and I'm asking the questions, but
please do.
That's what I'm used to.
Yeah, I'm falling in line, Ben. Go ahead.
Okay, so erectile dysfunction is, you figure what, a several $100 million business.
I would say billion.
Yeah.
I'd say several billion.
So do you think if there was a which I know they're coming out with like female Viagra, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But if you think there was one that worked as well as Viagra, documented works,
mm-hmm.
do you think it would be the same $1 billion business? Because you would think that men would want to get their partner more in the mood,
right,
than to worry about how hard their dick was.
Right. Well, I think for women, I mean, women can have an orgasm not just based clitorally, from that stimulation, but you can have internal orgasms, G-spot, P-spot. There's a lot of other cervical
QRS spot. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, right. Like we got
systole spot. What are we saying here?
We got places. So do men, though. I mean, like Tom always says, it's just the penis. It's not just the penis.
Okay, I'm talking for Tom. Okay, I am well aware that there are guys that like a variety of things, and my hat is off to them because they're experiencing some great things, and could not be more supportive.
Oh my gosh! You know what
I'm saying for me though?
We need to get somebody on our show, on my show, and on your show as well, to get that big giant 50-gallon drum, 55
of lube.
Holy
Niece Wadehofer.
It's almost
if she ever hears this show, Niece, you're always welcome on Just Some Podcast, and bring your 55-gallon drum of personal lubricant with you. So
that's right. We need somebody to hook Tom up with a ginormous bunch of personal lubricant, so he can just slide in.
I don't have a 55-gallon bucket story, but apparently, the clinic that I'm currently in the process of moving into,
mm-hmm.
I believe it was that one. It may have been somewhere else. I'm not sure. But they tried to order the small tubes of Surgilube for abs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sent a 1-gallon jug of Surgilube. I don't know what the hell you're going to need a 1-gallon jug of lubricant for.
Would you have like the pump top to get it out? Is that how
you had to have, I guess. I mean, like, my jeez.
Could you imagine you're in the middle of doing something and you need it and stuff, have it like packet, you're like, hey, Hey, someone bring the squirt. Get it in there. And then you got to deal with that.
The distance that you could shoot it at people and get it right where you need it. Do a little, you know, right?
But I digress off of lube. Right. So I mean, but back to the female Viagra.
Yeah.
You would think that men would want. I mean, I think that's a complaint that men sometimes have is, you know, well, my wife's not in the mood, or you know. So if you could give her a pill that made her think that, you know, the sun rised and set in your pants, you would think that men would be buying that like hotcakes.
Well, I think they would, but the flip side is if my junk doesn't work, what do I care if hers is an overdrive? Like, I need both sets of junk to want to meet. That's the problem.
Gosh, you're so ridiculous. You don't just have a day when you just pleasure your wife? What's up with you, Tom? What's going on with you?
It's called electricity. She gets it every day.
Oh my god.
So
wait, so she uses
I just meant she's got a roof over her head. I was trying to be chauvinistic, but it came off poorly.
She uses the electricity for those vibrating toys that she.
I thought maybe she had one like plugged in.
No, so
it's
she never listens to anything I do, so she won't hear this. Hey, she doesn't have any.
What?
No, she doesn't. I have tried.
All things holy.
I swear to God, look at my face right now. She does not.
I'm gonna
a mallet.
No, she's just not about it. Is that what
I thought she said a mallet. I just thought like a rubber mallet in my head. I'm like, what the fuck is she going to do with that? Oh like, God damn. What kind of equipment are you operating, Pollyanna, that you need a rubber mallet? Hammer that thing in,
you
huh?
never know up in here. But no, I was just saying if that's what she's about. Like,
I think that, well, we're not talking about, well, that's a whole nother show. We'll talk about that. I'm just saying, like, no, there is no electricity needed for any of that at this house.
For the love of Pete, we're gonna have to talk
we use batteries.
See? I would have thought that'd be more efficient. Yeah. But no, none of those either.
New battery Wednesdays are always the best. Make sure that your toys have fresh batteries.
Every Wednesday? How often are you using the damn thing?
Jesus Christ. We're going to have to buy her like a pole start mower version. Like,
with that coal powered one we talked about on our show last week.
Yes.
I was saying that to Dave earlier that it's nice that we have a battery powered lawnmower for our little tiny yard, right? Because we're just, you know, decreasing our carbon footprint, right? And he's like, what? You're so ridiculous. You drive 45 miles to work and 45 miles back. What kind of carbon footprint are you decreasing? I thought, oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you. So rechargeable batteries for us is a must.
So
reduce that carbon footprint. Just trying to. So
we say that dick size doesn't matter to men. I mean, or it matters to us in mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know the standard bullshit answer of, oh no, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Let's get real. Penis size matters to women, yes?
I don't think it necessarily matters, honestly, as long as, I will put this caveat in here. So, you know, we talked about you have to warm up the oven before you put the turkey in it, right? So foreplay and warming up the yoni or the vagina, the labia, all of that, all of those pieces and parts need to be engaged and caressed and kissed and whatever before you even ever try to attempt any sort of penetration, right? Because that's important.
True.
So if you can digitally penetrate your partner and hit some of those spots that they really like, then it doesn't matter what size your penis is, right? So then also the clitoris, the stimulation of that is going to be more not necessarily your penis, but more your pelvis. So, you know, at that point, that also doesn't lend to the fact that size matters. Again, and men with very vigorous mouths are also well appreciated by females. I'm just saying, you know, it's not all just penis and vagina sex. It doesn't have
and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, who doesn't enjoy the everything else that goes along with just
Right.
But I mean, there are positions like, and we don't even know I'm going to get into positions and things like that, but I mean,
Go ahead.
there are positions like doggy that is, I think, lends more toward a larger member.
Probably.
Just going to hit the G spot a little bit better than.
Right. But again, their partners may have, a little bit different anatomy to where maybe it feels good for them. So you never know.
So you're going to give with the bullshit answer of it.
There's a lock for every key is what I have to say.
What did I miss? Sorry, I had to pee.
Oh, penis size things that,
I was asking her if penis size matters to female, and she gave the standard bullshit answer of.
Dude,
oh no!
I have been lucky my whole life that I have every guy that I think that I've ever been with has been very well endowed. I have never been disappointed in any of them.
So then you literally have less room to talk than other people.
About what?
Because you just said every guy you've been with has been well endowed, so you've never had to deal with.
I'm just saying that I guess it's a perspective at the time. I don't remember. Honest, there's a couple. I just don't remember. Okay.
Wow. So now we went from.
Now we're talking.
Dick size matters to the point that don't you like how we turn your show around? Dick size matters to the point that she's forgotten the small dicks.
See,
all she remembers is
wow. So now I'm even more sure I'm right.
I don't remember them by their dick size at all. Their penis size has nothing to do with whether or not I remember them at all.
All right, I'll let you off.
I don't know about that. I'm sure if he was rocking a fucking thumb thimble or a meat shovel, you're going to remember either one of those guys. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, I can remember one guy.
Particular.
Ridiculous. That's
ridiculous good or ridiculous bad?
Ridiculous over 13-inch penis is too large of a penis for my liking. I'm just saying. That was me personally. It was uncomfortable. Just saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're feeling it in your throat from.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You're gagging on it from.
I know, and you keep saying that, but most guys, they're like, so.
Yeah. It's uncomfortable, dude. I'm not like that was a one-time thing too, so it didn't happen again because I didn't appreciate it. It's not my thing.
It is a big deal. So I'm glad.
It's always a
no. No, I like that you brought this up because this is a topic most people won't talk about. Mm-hmm. And it's no matter what I say, I was going to say it's a huge deal, but see, no matter what I say,
whopper of a deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's to death, Tom.
See, there you go again. I don't have a problem talking about stuff like this, but I think there's a lot of guys that do. So I think it's important, and I'm glad that you did this on your show because I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't talk about this or they won't bring it up. Like they want to talk about it, but they are too reserved, which that's not my problem. The reserved part about talking about this isn't the issue. I just, I don't know. I also think there's too many variations though to get one answer. And I think most women, they don't understand because they're assuming there is one answer, but there's not. Gotcha. There's not. Ben and I are best friends, but I guarantee you, no matter how much we agree on everything else, we're going to have some variations in this. And, I have cousins that are like brothers to me. I guarantee you they don't look at this the way I do. We might have some base issues that we agree on, like threesomes with two chicks, always cool. But
not the devil's threesome, is that what you're saying?
Is that like all I know is I want more boobs and less dick. Like I don't want any other dicks in my fantasies. But like I usually watch lesbian porn because I'm like, look, all boobs, no dick. Like that's amazing right there. So I'm just saying it works out.
So ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I'm just saying, like, 2 hot chicks, no guy. I'm like, this is working out. I like how this is going. But there's so many different perspectives. And like I said, I have friends that are the exact opposite. They're not afraid of rejection. They don't care what girls think about penis size. They're out to have a good time. And I admire them. I really wish I was more like that. But unfortunately on this one, I think I fall with the majority. And it's a constant concern.
Yeah.
So, Tom, does vagina size matter?
No, I could give 0 shits about a woman's vagina size. And I don't mean that in a way like I don't care about a woman or her vagina. I'm just saying, nah. If a woman is attracted to me and I'm attracted to her and she's like, I want you inside of my vagina, at that point, I don't give a fuck if a nuclear bomb is going off somewhere. Like, there is no more concern to me other than vagina. Like, I don't care about anything else that's going on.
So ridiculous. I just love it.
But Ben, do I sound different than any other guy in their head?
Probably not, no.
There you go.
Interesting. It's very interesting that always goes back to size.
Yeah, I know girls, and I've had, like I said, I work with all women. I get a lot of questions when it comes to sex because, like I said, I don't care. I'll talk about anything to anybody. And there always seems to be, well, do guys prefer whatever? Any Audi, fucking whatever. And I'm like, no. Now, there might be a select few that they have some kind of either fetish that they want to include or fetish that they exclude. Like, for some reason, they find that unattractive.
Yeah.
But the grand majority of men, I would say it depends on which guy you're talking to. I personally have to be attracted to you both, like, physically and mentally. Like, I can't be attracted to a chick that is dumber than a sack of hammers. Like, I just couldn't.
That's why you watch porn so much.
Yes, but I just yes, like the acting, they're the Meryl Streeps of their times.
Of their times.
But I need like some connection with who I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
There are guys that don't have that. At that point, they just want to get to business, and I just never been that. That's never been me. But I do know plenty of guys that are like, I could care less. So I'm like, oh wow, all right, well, good for you, and get some penicillin tomorrow.
Speaking of penicillin, it is getting late, boys. It is time.
I'm still not even sure what the hell we covered on this episode of your show, but
penis size. Were you not here, Ben?
No.
She asked you to measure it.
I was not asking him to measure it. I think
and
that
I measured it live on camera. No one will see it.
Not doing that. Hold on.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to, Pollyanna, I need you to measure the width of your hand.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Lord.
And then you're going to get a text message sometime, and it's going to be like, I am 2.5 Pollyanna hands.
I would just love it. Could you just Photoshop it on my hands if I just sent you
No. Well, she's always talking about hand jobs. I thought it was funny.
Listen, you don't even know what would happen to that picture. It would be off the chain.
I just need you doing the Allstate pose. Do that. Like, yeah.
Wow.
That would be fabulous. Okay. Tom and Ben.
What the hell's going on with your maiden voyage of this?
This episode of my maiden
Well, first of all, she wasn't expecting us to be us, and then you started asking questions, and then
we just went with it.
Yeah, no, I liked it. It was fun.
Let it happen. Yeah. So, thank you guys for being here to talk about penis size and how much it affects men, and how much we should really think about how it affects men, and you should ask your man if he has an issue with his penis size. And then assure him that
yes.
Yeah, probably gonna be a yes. And here's just one last thing. I don't know why I just thought about this. Like, if you were ever seriously, yes. Ladies, listen to what I'm saying here. If you're ever going to get into a fight with your guy, and sometimes women, everybody likes to throw a dirty shot every once in a while, like the low, like, this is going to really piss them off. Don't bring up dick size, because that is one thing you could say a lot of shit to a guy and we'll get over it. Like, you could punch him in the face. He'll probably like, fuck it, I don't care. Tell him he's got a small dick, or like, well, I saw your brother's dick one time and his dick's bigger. Like, do something like that, and that is shit. I don't care what he says to your face. He will never forget that. Like, that is a wound that will never heal. So don't ever do something like that.
Okay, fantastic. Duly noted. Will not ever do that.
Well, you said brag, like something you said just triggered in my head. I was like, oh, ladies, it is important stuff. Don't do that. Don't.
Well, while you're still talking, Tom, why don't you give yourself your social media shout out?
You know, he can't do that.
You want me to do it? Oh, I can, but Ben actually pretty much forbids me from doing it on the show.
Okay, then you have to stop talking and let Ben do it then. Okay, Ben, go ahead.
Well, if you like listening to Tom and I, and after this episode, I'm not sure why you would.
I wouldn't. I don't even like listening to me now.
Yeah. We're over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or on YouTube. It's all at Just Some Podcast. Our website, you can reach out to us there. It's www.justsomepodcast.com. Our email us and tell us that dick size doesn't matter. Admin at justsomepodcast.com. And I guess join us next week when we talk about semen and how to flavor it.
Oh my gosh. That sounds fantastic.
Is pineapple a myth?
You guys can find me at berrypleasures.com and Pleasure Pathways on Facebook and Instagram. And thank you guys so much for giving me the opportunity to have my own show under the Just Some Podcast family. And I love you guys. Thank you for being here tonight and talking about your dicks. I appreciate you.
Well, they won't let us talk about it on our show, so...
That's right.
Yeah, the man keeps keeping us down. Though aren't, in this case, we the men? I don't understand.
We are.
But anyways, that, yeah.
I'm oppressive. But love you so much. Thank you guys. And everybody, thanks for listening. Have a good night.
Just Some Podcast Media.